Hi creatives, Lauren Elizabeth here with Lauren Elizabeth Animal Art. If you're new here, welcome and Happy New Year. This is where I help creatives master technique in acrylics and unlock their style in animal art. And today I'm going to start a brand new series. It's called Set the Tone. So I'm going to encourage you over the next couple weeks to carve out 10 minutes at max 20 minutes each morning preferably, or whenever you can, where we grab our journal and or a sketchbook and create animal art while also checking in with ourselves physically and emotionally, setting the tone for the rest of the day with colorful animal art using whatever supplies you have available to you. It's the art making process that I really want to focus on. It's not about perfectionism. It's also not about spilling your guts and digging deep into traumas and really bad memories. It's creating art and seeing what happens, seeing what comes out. And I'm going to give you prompts and themes that will help guide that process. A process that mirrors the idea development phase of my creativity system in creating authentic, original art. It becomes so personal because it's art from our lives. So if you'll join me for these morning pages, I have some guidelines that are really important. So you'll just need a basic sketchbook and or a journal. Sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, what I'm creating, I'll use both or just one or the other. And I want you to create anything that comes to mind. So animals, patterns, designs, symbols, text, some words or verses or phrases using the art mediums you have available to you. The less you judge, the more effective this process will be at boosting creativity, helping you feel encouraged, empowered, more optimistic throughout the day, reducing stress, and lastly, 10 minutes. If you have more than that, great. You don't want to feel rushed, but at the same time, work with what you have. 10 minutes is better than no minutes for these morning pages. All right, creatives, so you ready? Grab that sketchbook and your journal and any art supplies, and let's get to it. So before I start this process, it's just so important to get reconnected with our bodies, our minds. I do this by taking deep breaths, 5 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. I turn off my phone if I'm not using it, and I get sketching. So today's prompt is to create from a word that really resonates with you right now in this season of life. Anything that keeps coming up. It can be positive, it can be negative. Something that is on your mind, that one word, and then create what that word looks like to you. What does it sound like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How would you describe that word using animals, symbols, patterns, colors, and designs? So my word is declutter. So the very first thing I drew was a bird trapped inside this cage over top a bunch of baggage. Heavy baggage that traps me. So in helping me understand declutter, I'm expressing the vision of what cluttered looks like to me. Now the opposite of that, what comes to mind is the beautifully organized hexagonal pattern that bees create for their beehive that they fill with honey and their young. And bees, I just think of mission workers. They are focused on the goal and they work hard at it and they do it well. An expression of my heart where I feel I need to reevaluate my priorities, fill my schedule with the most important things to me, the things I value, and recreate and stick with organized systems that I apply in my art career, as a wife, as a mom. And that's why I created a bird perched outside on a branch representing freedom. By doing this decluttering process in all the areas of my life, this will open doors, opportunities. I have little mission bees going inside this opportunity. Now, right above that door is a bunch of books. It's going to be a stack of books that my cat Carmen is resting on, to represent how learning from last year, the good things that came from last year is that I spent less time on social media and more time reading. I'd stack the minutes by taking 15, sometimes just 10 minutes each morning and in the evening before bed to read a book. And I got through about 2 to 4 books a month doing this. And I'm going to continue doing that. Plus, I took off the distracting apps from my phone so I can only access them on my laptop. Now, by the way, there's nothing wrong with using references and helping you express these things. I am doing that right now and drawing this bee. Also, don't feel like you're limited to just drawing out these things. You can also create a collage or a specific pattern or a special Zentangle design or a comic strip. This is whatever comes to mind from that word that pertains to your life. The sketchbook is such a personal space for experimentation, observation, and reflection, key elements in cultivating creativity and artistic identity. I've been revisiting the same subjects and themes while exploring new ones, and this has not only helped me discover and evolve my artist style, but also reduce stress, which is what I teach in my original Animal Artist course and monthly challenge. So if you'd like to discover practical ways of using your sketchbook to experiment with compositions, principles of art, layouts before committing to a final piece, while also discovering themes and symbols and emotions that resonate with you, I'll be opening registration relatively soon, and you can join the waiting list in a link down below. But guys, let's get back to our sketchbooks. Now, I drew a little garden that led into that opportunity, that door, just further expressing how in the process of decluttering and prioritizing, there will be a blossoming of fruit and good things. I'm using the color green, it's more like a turquoise, to represent life. Color yellow makes me think of hope, so I made this sun/sunflower beaming over this door. I have a hope that the Lord will guide me through this as I declutter. It is extremely challenging for me to not take on more. When I do take on too much, I become overwhelmed, I become grumpy, I am striving to please people. I definitely don't feel a sense of freedom, which is what butterflies make me think of, just like the bird. But when I lean on my faith, another reason why I'm making butterflies, because it represents the gentle, kind nudge of Jesus guiding me towards better things, where I don't feel that unrest. And that's where there's this overflow coming out of this star. All right, so this is towards the end of my 15 minutes on these morning pages. You'll see in a bit that on a separate day, I add more color, add more form to these symbols and animals. But I can't stress enough how important it is to step back and reflect on what you've just created. This is not an art critique whatsoever. You're just observing. What do you see? What are some interesting things that came up? And what is something that you learned about yourself in this process? As for me, my big discovery was my craving freedom. The word declutter is so important for me because it allows me to be less stressed, more peaceful, and less focused on productivity. So that's what I learned from this process. I'm going to focus on my priorities, which could be 1, 2, at tops 3 things, instead of trying to be so productive with 15 things at a time. All right, creatives, so I hope my example helped you be open and honest with yourself and your reflections on your morning pages. My hope is that this leads to a chain reaction in your life where you are more creative, more consistent with your creativity, less judgmental of your art and yourself, and better yet, this helps suffocate those unhealthy habits that you don't want to keep. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video in this series. Be sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this one. Have a peaceful day and bye.